How beautiful, the vision of a life wasted. To the common man, this premise seems absurd, but to the addicted mind, there is no notion more romantic. Across human history, man has found a way to escape reality, to waste life. Life is full, vibrant, contains endless potential. Addiction is empty, vapid, and destroys all hope. Before there was a word for it, before treatment centers and anonymous meetings, there was a man in ancient Sumer, standing in a field of what he called the joy plant, opium poppies. 5,000 years ago, he would become the first to know what we have since learned, that there are things in this world that take the pain away, things that help you escape, even if only for a moment. And knowing this changes everything. The ancient Greeks preached control, total mastery of emotions and self. As aware and introspective as their society was, there were still those who found beauty in a wasted life. The word addiction itself comes from the Latin addicere, to give over, to be devoted to surrender. The Romans used it in a legal context. A man addicted was a man handed over to something, no longer fully his own. They understood it as a transfer of ownership, from self to substance. Throughout history, addiction was seen as a moral failure, a character flaw, something that only infected the weak. When I first severed myself from my vices, I wrote daily in an attempt to figure out what happened and how I let myself get to this point. It was hard to discern what writings held value and what were incoherent ramblings of a scattered mind. But I found myself often revisiting this one idea, this idea of nothing. The drug is different, but the results, the emptiness, is the same. The extent or the dangers of all addictions are not made equal, but the emotional state they place you in is identical. This is what the idea of nothing aimed to capture. It's the isolation in a dark room, unable to turn on the lights to see the mess you created, either the physical one or the one behind your eyes. You know that the dark is better because there is no chance of catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and no longer recognizing who you see. The drinking, the drugs, they had put me in this room before, but even after years of abstinence, I found myself there again. The emotions and lack thereof, the desire to hide and waste away, the deterioration of my mind, body, and soul, it all occurred again. Only this time, I was a slave to another master. The exact same lack that alcoholism produced in my life, the reduction to nothing, was brought about by one small screen. The addicted mind creates this place and these thoughts only to keep the addict aware of all they lack, to paralyze them so as to not pursue an existence different from nothing. There is no positive emotion or events that can be experienced. The addict knows they exist, in theory anyways. They vaguely remember a time where they were pretty certain it was possible to feel such things. But now they only know of them because the addicted mind constantly dangles them in front of the addict, telling them this is how they should feel, but that they are not allowed to. It brings everything life has to offer to awareness, but none of it is available. It reduces you to a state of infantile and hedonistic satiation. Any thought of the addict divorcing themselves from nothing and returning back to an experience resembling life is immediately shut down by the irrepressible and deafening cry of the addicted mind's need to satisfy its cravings. In short, the addicted mind cuts off all contact with reality. It rules with an iron fist, making sure that you know this current existence is the only thing you are ever capable of experiencing. There is no different, there is no better. There is only misery and suffering every second of the day. Past and future selves erode away overnight, and we are left here with a nameless, faceless being who we once could recognize. Their features mutilated by pain and remorse for the self-inflicted damnation to a never-ending experience of agony. Welcome to the addicted mind. You will find nothing here. As long as man has walked this earth, There are those who understand these feelings. This shame. Today there are more than ever before. You may have never had an experience with overuse of alcohol or hard drugs, yet these words resonate the same. The feelings and experiences feel as if they're your own. It's because we have manufactured a new way to waste life. The substance, the century, the specific person, they all change. The story, the addicted mind, the experience of the user does not. The device that promised connection delivers isolation. The addictions of old have never been fully done away with, but the ones of the future are running wild. Addiction promises one thing and returns the opposite. It's conniving, contradictory. Promises of connection results in isolation. Entertainment turns to obligation rather than enjoyment. We were given abundance, but stripped it of its value. The old addict lost their life to the substance. Time gone, relationships gone, jobs gone. Today it's different. People don't lose their life, they move it. The relationships move online. The identity moves online. The body stays in the room, but the person doesn't feel present in it anymore. They feel detached and uninvested in any identity not placed behind a screen. Where they place these things are artificial. It's barren. It's impossible to build anything of value there. Life becomes nothing all over again, just in a different room. What's promised is fake and unrealistic. We all claim to know this with our words, yet our actions show something different. The shame is identical. The mechanism is identical. Only the stigma is no longer applied because everyone is doing it. Furthermore, everyone has convinced themselves there is no other way to live. We're useless without it. Not strong enough to part ways. Only the sick mind, the addicted mind, thinks this way, but no one calls it what it is. History would tell us that substances are the only way to be unfortunate enough to be thrust down this path. Yet you here, cokehead, drunkard, junkie, or not, you understand this concept in full. It's not family history or an unusual amount of empathy. It's the device you happen to be consuming this information on. If used incorrectly, the screen delivers the same lack as the needle. It can be used to inoculate or intoxicate. For all of human history, it was one way. Today it's been updated, repackaged. We manufactured the new joy plant. It's rooted in our pockets and grows in the palm of our hands. As a culture, we decided that shame belongs to the hard stuff. The bottles, the needles, the powder. We apply to those things the weight of moral failure, and we quietly replace them with a screen under the guise of connection. We still pass judgment on those who struggle with traditional addictions because we can't stand to face our own and bear the burden of our shame. But shame doesn't care what you're holding. Shame cares whether or not you reached for something outside of yourself because you couldn't stand what was inside. And by that measure, there are more addicts alive right now than at any point in human history. They just present themselves like everyone else because everyone else is doing the same thing. The opium addict, pot smoker, alcoholic. There was a barrier to entry for all of them. A time and a place to acquire their substance, then hide back away to consume. Friction that made it difficult to consume all day long. A ritual before use. Modern-day vices remove that. Accessibility is at a level no one anywhere across human history has ever experienced, and we all turn a blind eye. The desire to escape oneself is etched into the human condition, and now we have given everyone a way to do so whenever they please.